Hello, I'm Emily Ilett. I'm a children's writer and I'm excited to be answering some questions on my debut book, The Girl Who Lost Her Shadow, as part of Open the Door Festival 2020. The Girl Who Lost Her Shadow is a middle grade adventure story. It's a tale of sisterhood and bravery and asking for help when you most need it. It follows a young girl called Gail as she searches across the island where she lives in search of her sister's missing shadow. The focus of Open the Door this year is the environment, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the sea creatures that ripple through this book. Gail and her sister Kay dream of being marine biologists when they're older, so care and compassion for the marine world is a theme all the way through this story. So my first question is, where is the story set? So the story is set on a fictional Scottish island that looks a little bit like the Isle of Arran and a little bit like the Isle of Mull. Gail's journey takes her all the way across the island, takes her deep inside this mountain, through a series of dark tunnels, a wild forest, and right to the rugged southern tip of the island. What sea creatures did you learn about when you were researching the book? So many sea creatures. I've always been quite scared of the deep, dark ocean, but I spent a lot of time reading National Geographic magazines, watching nature documentaries, a lot of time on the internet, and I have just become really fascinated with the underwater world. I learned about weird and wonderful creatures from pinecone fish who have headlights on their chins made out of bioluminescence. I learnt about wobbegongs, which I might not be saying right. They are a really funny looking carpet shark. I learnt about lion's mane jellyfish, which you can find in Scottish waters, and they can have tentacles up to 30 metres long. And I also learnt about hagfish, which I'm now a huge supporter of. They are widely considered to be the most disgusting creatures, but they're really unique and amazing. They can produce slime that can expand. A tiny little teaspoon of slime can expand to fill a bucket in like half a second to chase predators away. They can tie themselves in knots. They're just like pretty cool. Did you discover anything that surprised you? Yes, pretty much everything I discovered and learnt surprised me. I didn't really know much about the underwater world or about marine life before I started writing this story. I knew bits and pieces, but I couldn't really put them all together. So I learnt loads of different things, and I guess a big one for me is that as I was learning about these sea creatures, I was also learning more about the threats that they are facing. And one creature that I wanted to write about in the book is the freshwater pearl mussel. It lives in rivers rather than the ocean. They can grow to be as big as your hand, and they can live for more than 100 years. I'd never heard of them before, but they are on the brink of extinction in Scotland. And Gail's story also follows her as she tries to stop some freshwater pearl mussels from being poached. What kind of sea creature would you like to be? That's such a hard question. I feel quite like a hermit crab at the moment, but I would much rather be a manta ray, I think. Kay's favourite creature in the book is a giant oceanic manta ray, and they are truly giant. They can be up to 7 metres long from one tip of them to the other tip. And I think they just look like they're flying in the water. I think they're magnificent. And finally, name a writer who opened the door to you. So many writers have opened the door to me and have been inspirations and continue to be inspirations, but I guess I'm sitting in front of a Tove Jansson print at the moment, and when I was just starting to write children's fiction, I read her Moomin books for the very first time, and they blew me away with how beautiful they are. So I think she is absolutely one of the key writers who's opened the door to me. I think that's all I've got time for today. So I just want to say thank you for listening, and if you want to find out any more about the girl who lost her shadow or about sea creatures, I've got some quizzes and creative activities over on my website, which is at emilyilett.com. Thanks and have a lovely day.